just me and my guitar.
Hey Spud. Spud. What are you up to? What are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Hiya, babe. Well, we got Spud out on the deck. He's running about, looking for the sun, acting like a nut job. Literally. You're a crazy dog, you are. Is it just my mad dog that does these things? Right. Today on Mark's Aquatics, what we're going to do is, it's an absolutely stunning day. What we're going to do is we're going to feed the goldfish first. Are you dead? No. We're going to feed the goldfish first, and then we're going to go and find some leaves up in the woods. Because, as Jon Snow would say, winter's coming. So we got to get out there, and we got to get loads of leaves and prep up for the winter. We got to get loads of leaves, and we got to prep for the winter. And we're going to find some leaves, different varieties of leaves, and we're going to make some winter food, which is going to take us all the way through the winter. What have you done? You whacked your head, you have. Poor old China. Chuck some food in there, babe. Let's feed these dudes. Is he feeding from your hands?
I don't know.
Good as gold, eh? Little China. In the sun. Right, let's go and find some leaves up in the woods. Our first tree we've come across on our little walk is a nice big oak tree. So we're going to come and we're going to take a few of these off. Nice big leaves that we can dry and press flat, which are going to feed our little shrimpies for the winter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around. I'm going to get at least a carrier bag full of leaves today, of different type, probably some beech. I'll keep stopping and starting the video and showing you what leaves I'm actually picking, and then we'll go through them when we get back, okay? And we're going to take some of these, some of the leaves off these as well. These will go into our food nicely. Just grab a branch at the end and pull them off, and you get a big bunch like that. Chuck them in your bag, and let's see what else we can find. Alright guys, just come across a nice little beech. No, it's a hazel, sorry. Little hazel plant. We can take some of these leaves off as well. Put them in the bag, and right above it here we've got a monster beech tree. So we'll have some of them leaves off of there as well. That's what I do. I just run my hand straight down the branch, and it just peels all the leaves off in one go. Here's a nice little example. There you go, millions of them there. We'll have one more of those. Put them in the bag. But you can use the bramble leaves like these. These are okay to use. Making sure obviously that there's no pesticides or anything, and you're well off the beaten track when you pick these things. There's lots of blackberries now. We're getting to the end of the summer, so this is when all the blackberries start appearing for the little wildlife to eat. And these little guys are good as well. These little blackthorn leaves, they're a bit spiky, these, so you're gonna have to watch your fingers. But like I did before, same thing applies. Give it a yank like that, and you just pull all the leaves off, and you can add that to your pot. Then you're going to get the odd little branch and things come off. You can sort them out later on, or you can just carefully just pick them all off. And stick them in the bag. This is going to be enough food for the entire winter. Okay guys, we're back from our little walk. While I was out there, this is a fantastic time. Like I say, autumn sort of fruits now and everything are coming into season. And so are these little guys. Hazelnuts. And absolutely great to eat. These aren't for the shrimps. You could use these. You could put them in there. You could use the bark of the cracker of the nuts. but that's what they're like, and they grow all over Britain, and a lot of people don't realise that that you can actually eat them. So but there they are. You can crack them open. I'll give you a quick demo. When you crack them, put them in the crack them from end to end that way. Don't crack them sideways, always go end to end. And then you can just peel them open. And you get a lovely big nut inside like that. Really tasty. Crunchy stuff. And they taste fantastic. So get out there, guys, and get yourself a whack of them, because once you store them in your house, that's it. You can have a big bowl of them and you can eat them whenever you like. My daughter loves these, that's why I picked a few. And now she can go in the kitchen, take these out and go in the other room and munch on them. She absolutely loves them, she does. Right, okay, we've got our big bag of leaves there now. We've got stinging nettles, we've got beech leaves, blackthorn leaves, oak leaves, hazel leaves, and I think we've got them all there. What I will say, guys, before, obviously I've got them in the house here now, but if you've got somewhere outside that you can take them first and dry them out, there's going to be a lot of bugs on here, baby spiders, all kinds of insect life all over these leaves. So I'd advise you to not take them out of the bag in your house. Take them outside, leave them in the sun, let them dry out in the sun for a good few hours. That'll start that drying process off, and then obviously all the little guys that are on there, you're not going to kill them all by sticking them in the oven in a little bit when we dry these leaves out. Okay, so it'll give them a chance to fly off and or crawl off, or whatever they do. Whatever's on there, time to get away and go back into the wild, and you're not going to be killing thousands of little creatures. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll go outside now, we'll scatter these all around, and we'll get them drying. Right, I've got my nice little bench seat out here, so we'll put them down. Minding the fingers. And we'll just open all these leaves up. I can see lots and lots of little insects already going for it, making an escape. Watch your fingers with the nettles, or you know what's going to happen. You're going to be scratching for ages. There's one of those, there's a hazelnut there on a hazel leaf. Another one there, it's a shell. Squirrel had that one. Make sure you leave some for the squirrels as well. Let all the creepy crawlies run away and hide, so they can go back to the wild without getting cooked. And then we can, I'll show you how to process this stuff up. I know we've done it before, but I'm just going to use a couple of extra things in this one as well. And we're going to try a different little technique this time. Okay, guys, we've got all the leaves there now on the tray. Bit of baking paper on there as well. Just reflect the heat back, and it'll help drying things out as well. It's been outside now for probably about 2 or 3 hours, so all the little bugs and things that were on it has run off, and I think we've got most of them. Everything that was on there now has run away. So what we're going to do now, we've just put the oven on. I put it onto 100 degrees. I'm going to pop these guys in the oven, and that's what they look like going in. And then you'll see them in a second. Okay guys, they've been in there for about 15 minutes now. And it doesn't get too hot. But as you can see, and as you can hear, they're all lovely and crispy. They've still got all those vitamins and everything in them. And if I get one in my hand, it just goes to nothing, see? But we can put that one in the pot straight away. Right guys, we're all out. All the stinging nettles, everything now. Crispy, crispy, look. They're just, look at that, look, like a poppadom, straight out there. But then you can crush them up, big leaf like that now. What I tend to do is just crunch it and pull. So you get all the good leaf, edible part of the leaf there, the big hefty part of the skeleton then. You can leave that out on the big oak leaves, and then we can put that in our blender. Like I've said in my other videos, if you get an old blender from an old yard sale or off eBay or anything like that, and use it for this purpose only, that's what I do. I've got a Fruit Ninja, and I've just went on eBay and I bought an extra cup and a blade, which I keep for doing making all my foods up, or the wife tends to threaten me with divorce. Right, so you just crotch it up like that into the pot, and then you take the stalk out. So I'm going to do that now with all of this, and I'll get back to you when all that boring work's done. The stinging nettles now, like I say, they're all crispy. All that formic acid now which is in them is all has been destroyed now by the heat, so you're not going to get stung by touching those now, so you haven't got to worry about that. All the beech leaves, you can put all the beech leaves in unless they've got a big stalk. I don't like to put the big stalks in because it's quite fibrous, as is the nettle stems as well. So you get a big chunk of nettle stem like that is. I'll take that off. I'll just take the majority of the leaves off and chuck the stalk away. We don't really want that because that does fit. It just doesn't go well. See, like a big stick like that, you wouldn't want to put that in. Fair enough, it would blend up, but you don't really want it in there because there's too much fibre in there, and the paste doesn't seem to work as well. I've found doing it that way and leaving them in. So I just crunch them up like that and then drop them in and get rid of that. Right, enough talk. I'll get on with this and I'll get back to you when it's all been processed. Right guys, we've got all that in there. I've just wazzed up a little bit because I didn't have room, but that's all jammed in there now. And we're going to give that a quick blend up, and then I'll get back to you when it's all been whacked up, okay? There you go guys, it's all been wazzed up. We've got a nice green colour in there. We'll just open him up, and that's what we've got in there, you see. A very, very fine powder now, which we can pour out. Look at that lot. And that's what we're left with. Really, really fine powder, which your shrimp are going to absolutely go nuts for. They really will. And it's all free. It's all out there just waiting for you to go and get it. Right guys, what I've done is I've put in, you know, the Richard from Pongaroo sent me about, well, a good couple of, I reckon probably a good 100 to 150 Indian almond leaves. I've just put some of those in there as well, and I've just blasted it all together, and now we've got that. We've added a little bit of Gen Chem Polytase in there as well, just a good pinch of that, just to mix it in through the powder, and put that back into the blender and whizzed it all up again. So now that all those ingredients are in there as well. And what I've also added in there as well is some nori, which is seaweed, which you make sushi from. If you go into any of your local shops that sell that sort of food, you'll find the sushi in its little packets of basically dried seaweed that you wrap around the around sushi when you're making the sushi with the rice in and all that stuff. So you can buy sheets and sheets of that. It's a lot cheaper to buy it that way than buying it from a shop or from any aquatic shop, because it's packaged differently and they charge you about 3 or 4 times as much for it. So that's where I tend to buy mine from. So we've added some of that in there as well, and I think that's what sets this off and makes it go nice and hard and sticks together. Right, so what I'm going to do now I've put the that nori in there as well. We've blended that all up. That's all mixed in and all done. So now what we've got to do is we've got to mix it all up again. Right, what we've got to do now is we've got to add some water to it, and we've got to make that big ball of dough like we did last time, okay? Right, what we got here, we got some RO water from my unit, RODI water. We're going to mix in with this, and just add little bits as we go. Pour a bit in there. I've got a handy little plastic spork there, which I can, I think they call them sporks, spoon and a fork combined, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to mix that in and keep going around and around. Like you say, when you do this, you want to add as little as water as you possibly can, but just be patient and just keep mixing it up until it goes solid. And then just add a bit more. So it's a lot easier to do it that way than add too much water, because then you haven't got enough powder to put back in to mix it up again. And as soon as you can get your fingers in there and add a little bit more pressure, then you can add a little bit more with your fingers then. Because we're going to be dehydrating this at the end. Now we put a lot more leaves in. If you remember, the last one we made was quite brown, because we had a lot more Indian almond leaves in there. But we've gone for more of nature's leaves this time. We put some in last time. We put different varieties in. And now the fun bit is get your hands in there, and this does get a bit sticky, guys. It really does, and you probably end up getting it all over the place. Do it when your wife's out or your boyfriend's out, if they like keeping their kitchens clean, or you're going to get shouted at. All right. But already that's making a dough. You can see that it's sort of starting to hang together and creating a big ball inside as you squeeze that water through it. And all the leaves have got sugars in and as well, so they'll add to the to that binding effect as well. Cooking with Mark. Look at that. Just keep picking up those little bits. It's not too sticky, and you can see it's stuck to my hands a bit there. But after a time, just like if you're making a loaf of bread, you'll find that as this gets stickier, it'll pick up, as it's doing now, everything which is in the bowl, and sucking it off the side of the bowl. See, it's getting cleaner and cleaner all the time as we go in. I've just done this one a little bit more in depth to show you, because I thought I didn't really make it that clear on the other video that I did when I did the shrimp matches, and this is the same kind of paste as we made for the shrimp matches, but I thought I skipped out a little bit more and I could put a bit more in there, so this sort of stage. And then once you get that going, then you can really start to roll it out, fold it over, and keep folding it like that, folding them ends in and giving it a good old squeeze. It's starting to really thicken up now and get really sticky, if you can hear it. Starting to stick to my hands, and we've got this lovely big green ball of paste. Which is fantastic stuff. You can feed it to your shrimps fresh like this, it wouldn't hurt them at all. There you go, how's that for a big ball of food? Now that's going to last me for right through the winter, no trouble at all. We're going to make absolutely tons of food out of that. I've still got some left from the last batch we made, but this is going to take us right through now, and we're not going to have to buy any more food. Nature has provided us with all the food we need for our little shrimps throughout the winter, and that's lovely fresh ingredients in there. And when that dries, it's going to be nice and solid like the other shrimp matches were. Right, we've got it in cling film, all looking nice, smells great, for about, I don't know, an hour and a half's work. A nice little walk, picking some leaves with my nipper, and she enjoyed herself as well. And we've got this huge big ball now of shrimp food, which is going to take us right the way through the winter. And we're not going to have to buy any more fresh food now for some time. Let's make some shrimp food now. Right guys, we're all out the freezer now. We've got it out the freezer. We're going to let it defrost, and then we're going to make some nice little shapes out of this for our shrimps, okay? Good morning guys, Mark back here. We're in the workshop. It's the next day. We've defrosted our big ball of food, and we've just rolled this out now into a big sausage on the old chopping board here. And I think with this batch of winter food, I'm just going to make loads and loads of little small balls which we can dry out, and then we can just pop one of those in each one of the tanks once or twice a week for them to give them some nice fresh greens. And it's going to take me a bit of time, but I love doing this sort of stuff. I really do. Get me out in the workshop playing around making shrimp food. It's all part of the hobby for me, making stuff, not just buying stuff. Anyone can just go in a shop and buy stuff. Making it's all the more fun, and you know exactly what's gone into your shrimp food. And there's enough there to make hundreds of little balls, which is what I'm going to try and achieve now. So I'm going to speed things up and crack on with these little leaf shrimp balls. Okay guys, we've finished, and we've got a massive ball of this stuff left, which we can put back in the freezer now and use another day and make a load more. Now I've made up a heap of these little little balls, which we can now just leave air dry, and they'll go nice and solid, and we can drop one in the tank whenever we want. There's probably a couple of hundred there. And I've also made some little funky leaf pattern ones as well. I've got a little mould for those, and I've made a few of them as well. So we're going to go and drop one of these leaves. I think we'll drop one of the little leaf mould ones into each tank now, and we'll see how they get on with those. Okay, I think I'll wash my hands first. They're a little bit mucky, and then we'll go in the shrimp room and we'll see how these little guys get on with this new leaf food. Well, that seems to be a hit with the little dudes. They're all flying across the tank here. From far and wide, coming for that. Little legs going everywhere. Like I say, the Genchem polytes that you put on the top, as you can see now, it's just drifting across nicely. So all the little babies now will be picking those bits up as well. So it's a good all-round food. And all these little guys, the crystal red tank, they're all homing in on it as well. We'll give them 5 or 10 minutes and we'll come back and have a look. Yep, I think they like it. Check out the other guys here as well. They're tucking into theirs. The little moss balls are doing well. The ones we made a few days back or a week ago. I'm not sure how long ago it was now. But they're really growing well. Look at that. We trimmed those right back tight and they've really grown out nicely now. The same goes for the other one as well. That's growing out nice. Yes, these guys are enjoying their little leaf treats there. There you go guys, months of food there. All prepped up and ready to go. I know it looks like a crazy rabbit's coming here and crapped all over my laptop, but there's lots of different leaves in here. Lots of different leaves, all wrapped up in those little packages there now. We've got the Genchem in there, we've got beech leaves, we've got hawthorn, we've got hazel, we've got oak, we've got Indian almond leaf in there as well. And I've made them this, you can make them as whatever size you like. I mean, I've decided to go just for the round drops at the moment, the little bombs that I'm going to drop in the tank. But you can make yours if you wanted to make them whatever style you like, whether you just roll it into long sausages, chop it up into, you know, just chop it up into little beads. You could do it that way as well. I've just rolled these up just for a change, and now we're going to just leave them air dry now. We'll just cover them up with some of this tissue. They're already sat on some. And I'm going to put them somewhere room temperature now until they get nice and solid. Once they are solid, you can keep them. I mean, I've just decided I'm going to put them into that. Okay, but line it with a towel first, with a paper towel, or if you've got one of those little silica packets that you can put in there as well, which you do get in some shrimp foods or some salts, or the Genchem polytes, anything like that. Those little silicone bags, if you can find one of them and put that in there, that'll keep them nice and dry as well. That's how I store them. I just put them in a bowl like that, in an old Tupperware dish with some napkin in the bottom like that. Leave the top open so that can evaporate off, and they'll go nice and solid. You can feed them fresh like we just did in the shrimp room. They love them fresh as well. And the dough that we've got left, another thing you can do is you can freeze them like this as well. You can freeze them and they'll be fine. You just take them out of the fridge and then they'll stay fresh, and you can feed them fresh like that, because they'll freeze up okay. If you put them in a little pot and freeze, or individually freeze them, and you can take one out once a week and drop it in the tank, and feed your little shrimps that way as well. But that's how I tend to do it. I'm going to do that lot. I'm going to dry them, so I can just drop them in as and when. And I've also got that big bowl of dough still in the freezer, so I can make a load more up, different shapes, sizes, and give a few away to me mates and stuff who keep their shrimps, and keeps their shrimps healthy as well throughout the winter. Anyway guys, I hope you like that little episode there of how to make some winter food. As always, you're all stars, look after yourselves, love you loads, be safe, and I'll see you on the next edition of Mox Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.